In this video, we're going to think about or develop another way of representing the dot product, another form of the dot product that will be really useful in finding the angle between two vectors and interpreting the meaning of the scalar that results from the dot product. So first, let's recall the law of cosines. This law tells us that to find, given a triangle, doesn't have to be a right triangle, any triangle, I've labeled it so that each angle, so here's vertex A, this is angle A, and the side opposite, the length of the side opposite A is labeled with a lowercase a. The side opposite from vertex B, this would be angle B, is lowercase b, and the side opposite from vertex C is lowercase c. The law of cosine tells us that the length of the opposite side to vertex A, so the length of A squared, is equal to B squared plus C squared. So this is the Pythagorean theorem so far, if the triangle is a right triangle, but if it is not, then we subtract 2 times the length of B times C times the cosine of the angle between the two sides, B and C. So this is the angle this is angle A. So A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times cosine of A. I'm not going to prove this here, but this is the law of cosines, which you can look up if you would like to see where it comes from. We're going to apply it, but we're going to change our diagram slightly. Now I'm going to label one side of our triangle vector V. And I'm going to use a vector to represent the other side of the triangle, vector U. So this is like side C, and vector U is like side B in our triangle. And we're going to call the angle between the two vectors angle theta. Now notice that the opposite side can be represented as a vector if I draw it in this direction. So the tail of the vector is here, the head of the vector coincides with the head of vector U, and you might remember from our parallelogram rule that this will actually be vector U minus vector V. If you use the parallelogram rule, you can complete the parallelogram span by vectors U and V, and note that this is one of the two diagonals. The other diagonal will be the sum of U and V, and this diagonal is the difference of U and V. Okay, so let's apply the law of cosines to our triangle, noting that each length of the vector, which are the length correspond to the length of the sides, will be magnitudes of our vectors. So in this case, the side opposite, so what corresponds to side A in the triangle at the top, will actually be the magnitude of U minus V. And what corresponds to side B at the top will be the magnitude of vector U. Right? These are the lengths of the sides of the triangle. And what corresponds to side length C in the triangle at the top is the magnitude of vector V. And so applying the law of cosines here, we will get that the magnitude of U minus V squared, so that's like side A, will be equal to the magnitude of U squared plus the magnitude of V squared minus 2 times magnitude of U times magnitude of V times the cosine of the angle between U and V, which we're calling angle theta. And this is, again, the law of cosines. Now, I'm going to expand this a bit and work with this law of cosines to come up with our second representation of the dot product. But to do that, there are a couple of properties that I will be using. One of the properties that we saw in the previous video that will be useful here is that the magnitude of a vector squared equals the dot product of a vector by itself. So we're going to apply that to expand this expression. On the left side, we can see that the magnitude of u minus v squared will be u minus v, the vector u minus v dotted with itself, applying this property. On the right side, the magnitude of u squared will be u dot u, and the magnitude of v squared will be v dot v. And I'm going to leave the third term here as it is. So 2 times magnitude of u, magnitude of v, times the cosine of the angle between the two vectors. Okay. On the left side, we're going to apply the distributive property of the dot product to expand this product. So that's kind of like using FOIL in multiplication. So I'm going to do, this will give us, u will multiply u first, so it'll be u dot u minus u dot v. Then the inner terms minus v dot u, but dot product is commutative, so I'm going to write this as u dot v plus v dot v. That's the left side. On the right side, we still have u dot u plus v dot v minus 2 times the magnitude of u, magnitude of v, cosine theta. We can see that u dot u is on both sides of the equation, so that can be subtracted, canceled out, as is v dot v. On the left, recall that u dot v is a scalar, so we can combine these two scalars, and we have negative 2 of them. So I have a negative 2 times u dot v. And on the right side, we have a negative 2 times the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v times cosine theta. Dividing both sides by negative 2, we get our second form of the dot product that tells us the dot product of u dot v is the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v times the cosine of the angle between the two vectors. And this is our second form of the dot product. We're just going to take a couple of minutes to see what this can give us, what this tells us, because this is an important result. I started the section on dot products discussing that what the dot product tells us is how much of one vector points in the direction of the other. So a couple of notes here. Let me find a good color. We'll do yellow. A couple of notes here. So this is our form that we're going to be working with. If theta is pi over 2 or 90 degrees, this means that the vectors, right, u and v, have a 90-degree angle between them. In this course, we either say that they are normal, that means there's a 90-degree angle between them, or orthogonal, or perpendicular, right? These are all orthogonal, and normal means that there's a 90-degree angle between the two vectors. So what happens if theta is pi over 2? We know that the cosine of pi over 2 is 0. So that means that the dot product, since cosine is 0, the dot product will be 0, since the dot product is the magnitude of one times the magnitude of the other vector times the cosine of the angle between them. So when we have two vectors that are orthogonal or perpendicular to each other, then their dot product is 0. So they are not at all aligned with each other. They're not at all pointing in the same direction of one another. And so that's what the dot product is measuring. If two vectors are parallel, for example, so let's suppose if they're parallel, then either the angle between them is 0 or 180 or pi. So if two vectors are parallel, right, so this tells us either theta is 0 or theta is pi, then the dot product will give us its greatest possible value. If the angle is 0, this will be a positive number, the greatest positive number, and if the angle is theta, we'll just get the largest, I guess I should say smallest if they're in the opposite direction, the largest negative number. So the larger the absolute value, right, or the numerical value of the dot product is, the more aligned two vectors are to one another, which means they're pointing in the same direction or exactly in the opposite direction. But if the angle between the vectors is 90 degrees, then the dot product will be 0. So a big takeaway from our work that we did in this video is that two vectors are orthogonal, which means there's a 90-degree angle between them. If and only if, we write that with two F's, their dot product between them is equal to 0. So big takeaway here, an interpretation of the dot product and what we get from this form. In the following videos, we're also going to see, well, how do we find the angle between two vectors? And then we'll move on to projections.